right. So I want to welcome everybody to yet another episode of the Bench Doctor. He still doesn't have the parts for his completing his trench gun, but he is going to show us how beautiful the bluing is if the video quality stays up. And then tonight, I believe what we're doing is we're going to try to we're going to watch you live fail.
Yeah.
Preparing a. How much did the gun cost?
It was, I think, with all the fees and everything, it was still under 300.
Under $300. So a Colt Detective Special that does not work, that is going to work. Well, that it probably will work. That might work by the end of this video. So if you've got questions and you're on a live stream that is not Zoom, come to Discord and ask them. We're only going to monitor the Facebook feed and the YouTube feed sort of peripherally. So if you're on YouTube or Facebook or Twitch or Twitter, I'm sorry, we're not going to answer your questions directly real time. All the questions get answered either in our Discord server or in the Zoom chat that's actually happening right now. So next time, register for the class and show up, and you'll be able to ask questions live. We got a team of moderators tonight who are going to help us keep track of things. Drop your questions in either Zoom or Discord. One of them will pick them up. If we've got time for live questions at the end, we'll go ahead and unmute folks during the Zoom. Otherwise, I'm going to turn it over to Scott. I think I covered everything this time. It's always a crapshoot with me. And you tell us all about what we're going to do tonight and maybe show us how beautiful that bluing is.
All right. All right. Well, hello all. Thanks for showing up. I was going to start with updating you on what's going on with the trench gun. I tore it all apart down to its every last screw and rust blued it. I wanted it until the handguard came because the handguard comes in the white, meaning just bare metal, and needs to be blued. But I just got impatient and wanted to make some progress. So I don't know if you recall the gun before, but the receiver had no bluing left on it, and it had a lot of rust and nicks and dings in it. The barrel had some bluing, wasn't it was spotty. So I took it all apart and I rust blued it and reassembled it, and it's all working. So I don't know if you can get a gander, but it's not as, I need to polish it to get that real shine finish on it, but I kind of like the matte finish. It almost looks like it was parkerized. So anyway, that's the status of it now. And Ed was asking that we chop the barrel. This is what the crown looks like. We can get it in. Not very well lit, but this is what it turned out. It's been blued. So what you have to do is put cork or something to stopper up the barrels on the barrel on both ends, so you don't fill the thing with water while you're boiling it in the rust bluing process. And this was rust blued about 6 or 7 cycles, depending on the part. Some parts took the bluing better than others, and the receiver was really difficult. It really took a lot of work to get it to match. So I'm pretty happy with the way it's turned out. It function checks fine. Everything works. The safety, I can do the takedown here. Hold on just one second. I can take it apart like so. And there are all the pieces. So that's where we stand on this project. As soon as the handguard comes in and the other pieces, they should all be in one package. Hopefully this guy doesn't ship it in 3 separate packages. We'll go ahead and finish this thing up. But I figured I'd just give you an update where we're at. So I'll take these 2 halves of a shotgun and put them aside. And we'll get into today's patient here. So this is, I thought it was a detective special when I was looking at it on the auction, based on the length of the barrel and the shape of the, I'm not an expert on Colt revolvers. I've never torn into one. So I've never had the opportunity to do it, but I thought it was a detective special because you can see this little lump right here in the trigger guard, the shape of this frame. And they made a couple of different frame sizes that contain that. And so I thought with the short barrel and that it was a detective special. There wasn't much information about it. They just said it's a non-functioning chromed Colt revolver. And I don't know if it's coming in, but there is the Colt Prancing pony right here. And then this little detail kind of gives it away, as well as the shape of the plate, but it doesn't work. You can see that this doesn't lock into place. The crane doesn't lock, and I cannot, it spins, the hand spins the cylinder, but the trigger will not go back any farther than that. So I suspect what it is. I haven't taken it apart yet, but I suspect it's there's a little post in here and a little spring and a little guide that lock this into place. So it needs to move forward to lock into the cylinder. There's a piece that as we get into this, hopefully I can show it to you, that locks in here and locks this cylinder into place. And that obviously, it's right here, and that's not moving far enough forward, as you can see, to really lock it in place.
I just want to say one quick thing. Sorry, the video is a little fuzzy again, but I don't want to do anything to fix it. So I'm just warning everybody.
Okay.
Before they start flooding the channel with the video is fuzzy.
Yeah.
Yes, the video is fuzzy. Hopefully it'll clear up throughout the presentation.
Yeah.
I'll let you know if you need to move something.
Okay. So this book was invaluable. I think I talked about it a little bit last week or the week before. You can order this off Brownells. If you work on a lot of older guns, or if you're just curious about how they work, but they have the teardown procedure and a lot of diagnoses and things like that on some of these older guns. And fortunately, this gun was in here. And so this is the line drawings of the gun. And then unfortunately, the way the book's laid out, the parts list is on the other side. I have to turn the page. I thought I was looking over here and I was like, this doesn't match up at all. So they're actually over here. And this is actually a Colt official police. It is not a detective special. And I ran the serial number through Colt. Colt's website will it'll tell you anywhere that serial number was used. And so this serial number has been used on like 4 or 5 different models of gun. And the only one that made any sense was the official police revolver. So I did a little more research. They didn't make the official police revolver in a stubby like that. And it would have had official police 38 caliber on the barrel right here. So somebody has taken a 4-inch or a 6-inch barrel and cut it off at the chamber side and then put it back on, because they wanted to maintain this fixed front sight, I would guess, is why it was done. But this is the same. This is what's called a E or I frame, which is the same frame used for the Colt Python. And I don't know, somebody maybe was trying to imitate a Python, look. I really don't know what was going through their head. And the gun has been chromed. They did do them in a nickel finish, but this is a chrome finish. And you can tell it's not factory. I know it's probably not coming through on the video because of the glare, but the frame and the cylinder and the barrel and everything is bright, shiny chrome, but the trigger and the hammer are in the black or in the blue. So somebody, I don't know why they did that. They probably just liked it, or they forgot to throw the parts in when they sent it off to the chromer. But anyway, it's kind of an interesting piece. And for the money, I figured, well, if I can go all in and own a functioning Colt revolver for $300, great. If not, you're about to see me fail expensively online. So looking through the line drawings and the diagrams of the gun, let me see if I can tilt this up so you can get a better view of.
There you go. That's a little better.
Yeah. So right here is the piece I think that is being blocked. So let's see if I can walk you through the drawing. So here's our cover plate. Right here is the piece that we push forward with our thumb. You can see there's a little spring and a little guide right there. And I think our problem is in there. So I ordered these parts. I was ordering parts for another gun, and these parts were fairly cheap. So I ordered them, and I figured if I get the gun running, I'll replace all the springs anyway. So it was a low risk proposition, and they were, I think, $6 a piece. So I have those, and I think that's where our problem is. But this connects to this, which moves and locks into this star right here. So this is jammed up. Something in this subassembly is jammed up, and I'm hoping that that's our only problem. When we free that up, that the trigger and the rest of the lock will work together. So let's go ahead and take the patient and put them on life support and see what we can do with it. Let me grab some tools. And I have my Colt, this is not loaded. These are spent cases, but this is my Ruger GP100 to give you a sense of size for the gun. It's really a comparable size frame to the GP100. So if you wanted to get a sense of scale on it. All right, so since this is chromed, I'm really going to be conscious of the screw size and the screwdrivers that I'm using, because I do not want to scratch the chrome. I think it looks cool. It looks like something you would wear in a side holster in 1970 in Las Vegas. I had given some thought to stripping the finish off of it and re-bluing it, but I have mixed feelings about that. I do want to find an original barrel and rebarrel it in the correct barrel size, though. Maybe. Oh, and I picked up the original grips too. I'll show you those. So let's go ahead and take our grips off. I don't like these big, chunky. They just don't look right on this gun to me. Set that aside. So just looking at it, our mainspring is intact, which is good. This lever seems to actuate everything. Everything's sort of dependent on this lever, and that looks to be intact, and I don't see a lot of rust, so that's a good sign. I think we have to take the crane off first, going by what the book says. And let me find a good bit for that. Yeah, that's good enough. So on these external screws, I get really nervous about the screwdriver slipping. And this is an interesting setup. This screw retains the crane, and I'll have to show this to you when I get it out of the gun. Looking at it, I've never seen one of these on any of the revolvers I've worked on. So this little screw locks in to this piece right there. You can see the little notch right here. This little extra ring locks into that, and then this indentation mates up with the top of the screw, and that whole thing goes in together and locks the crane in place. So that's what it looks like from the top. And pretty neat little setup. So now we should be able to slide the crane off. Okay, there we go. So there's our crane. And that spins. I would like to see it spin a little freer, but it does spin. I don't feel any kind of grit or, and then the ejectors is working fine. A little bit of oil on it, a little bit of corrosion, but I think and this looks good. Sometimes these surfaces will get rusted and pitted from just sitting in a moist environment. This is our serial number. So this crane is serialized to match, it matches the serial number on the gun, which is good. So somebody hasn't changed that part. So now we have to take this plate off, and wish me luck. Because unlike other revolvers, yeah, the guts on a Colt are sort of stacked on top of each other, unlike some of the other guns that I've worked on. So they're a little bit different. So I'm hoping that nothing spring loaded and pops out at me. I don't think it will. So I'll set those aside. Now, any revolver, like Smith & Wessons, are the same way. They have this plate on them. You don't want to get a screwdriver and come in here and pop and pry those plates off. That's not how it's designed to be done. I'm going to show you the technique Yeah, on a Smith and Wesson, the plate's on the other side, but it works the same way. So you kind of hold it in your hand this way and we can't have one of my videos without a hammer. So Ed, here's the hammer portion of the video. I'm going to take the nylon side and I'm just going to tap on the frame like that. There we go. So that gets that plate off. So now looking in here, I suspect whatever the problem is in here because this is jammed up. That doesn't move. And I think it should slide out freely. Now, okay, I don't know if you can see this. Can you see this little piece of spring right there? This
It's
little
really fuzzy. We can see that there's a I can see mostly what you're looking at, but I can't see much
okay.
detail. So it's like
Just on first glance, there is where the tip of my pick is. There looks like a little spring leg coming out where this slide notches in that frame in this plate. I can see a little bit of a steel spring right there. So that looks to be a problem. That should not be there. So what I'm talking about though is this piece right here. This piece moves back and forth, to lock that cylinder in place.
can the hammer actuate with all that assembly off?
No, see what's happening, I think, is this isn't traveling far enough forward. Yeah, the hammer will operate, I believe, with that side plate off. So normally that hammer would travel up like that. So now see this was stuck in the rear position, and get that out of my way. That's the hand. So what's happening, I think, is it's coming up and this knee on the hammer is hitting that. See, like that, and that blocks it. So I think that's what our problem is we need to take this piece apart and figure out how to fix that. And I don't think that's supposed to rotate freely. I think that's supposed to lock into place, but we'll deal with that in a minute. So, other than that, the lock work looks good. The sear, I don't see any chips or gouges in it. Looking at it from this angle, I'm looking at this surface right here on this piece to make sure that it's not corroded or gross, and looking at the trigger, and I don't see any issues there. The hand, a lot of times you'll inspect this surface right here because this moves up and rotates that cylinder. And on a lot of well-used revolvers, this will get rounded off and it won't cycle when you pull the trigger or pull the hammer back. This hand just doesn't have enough mass anymore to move it. So what you can do is order this piece and they'll send it to you oversized, and then you will have to hand file it to fit the gun. You'll just have to file a little bit off and try it, file a little bit off and try it. That's what makes old revolvers kind of complicated to work on, is every one of these pieces. I think now with modern CNC machining, I don't think that's quite the problem anymore. But on a lot of these old ones, you have to actually hand fit this stuff. And
Scott, I'm just going to do this every so often and remind people. Yes, we know that the video fidelity is a little wonky. So
yeah, I'm not sure why. Same camera, same setup I had last week.
Could be anything, but we know it's there. We had it fixed briefly, and now it's back to that. So we'll make sure Scott uses lots of words, which he loves.
Well, what I'll do is I'll take it back apart when we're done, if I get it working, and take some still photos, and maybe we can post those online so you can see what I'm talking about. Might help if somebody actually cares enough. So we need to get this to move freely using this.
That said, we're just here to watch you not able to do this. So
okay, great. There we go. I got it apart. So see that broken spring? I don't know if you can see that, but there's a little piece of spring right there.
We can barely.
Yeah, it's a little curly cue of a steel spring that just popped out, and otherwise that piece looks okay. I don't know if you can see that. There's the spring down in there. There's a little tiny spring, and it looks to be, I don't see there should be a plunger or a spring guide, and that piece is missing. If we look, let me get the book again. So I think my hunch was right. Let's see, it was 2 right here. So looking at the book, we saw this piece. This is the piece that's malfunctioning. This is the piece that actuates. So you can see the little spring, but you see this little plunger. That piece should be there, and it's not. So I don't know if somebody disassembled this and lost that piece and put it back together with the spring or something, or they jammed that spring in there and it got caught somehow in this mechanism. But that's where that little piece, that little spring leg was jammed between this piece and in the channel that it rides in. And I don't see that spring guide. So I ordered these two pieces figuring I would respring this gun anyway. And I always just replace all of these little springs and detents and things like that if they're available, because they're kind of wear parts, and why not, you know, if they're cheap enough, if you can find them. So let me see if I can get that little old spring out of there. That may be more trouble. Let's see, this will be fun to do. Hopefully it's not rusted in there. I don't like working with chrome and nickel as it scratches. Oh, there we go. It's going. Okay.
Is there any rust in any other component that you can see?
There is a little bit of surface rust in a couple of places, but nothing that concerns me. I figure I'm going to respring this gun, so I'll pull all the guts out and clean it. And but I don't see anything. That the bore looks good from what I can tell, so I don't see anything else in here that really gives me pause. Let's check. So let me get the new part, and where's it at? Find a. Where did I put that little envelope with the new parts in it? That's not it. No, where did we go with that little part? Sorry for the offline or off camera shenanigans here. I have a little envelope that looks like this that was right up here earlier. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Okay, so these are the replacement parts that I ordered. And if you need stuff like this, there's a company called Jack First. Highly recommend them. They were great. They have a whole lot of these parts for these guns, and they ship really fast. Their prices are the same as, say, Numrich and some of those companies, but they ship very quickly. Numrich, I've had parts wait 6 or 8 weeks on a tiny little part, just take forever to get to me. But these guys, I ordered these last week and they came yesterday. So in this day and age, that's pretty amazing. So here's what okay, this is the spring that came out right here. And this is what apparently it's supposed to look like. I don't have the specs on it, but it looks to be the same diameter, and it's considerably longer than this thing. And then this thing's got that horrible bend in it. So, and then this is the little spring guide that was missing. That didn't fall out of the gun. I'm going to take a closer look, but that piece isn't there at all. So I'm going to bear with me. I'm going to hold this up close to my face and see if I can find that piece. I hope it's not. I don't want it to roam around in here and jam something else up, but I don't see it. So that's good. Okay, let me get a little canned air, blow some air into it. Just make sure nothing's rattling around in there. Where's my, there we go. I have a compressor, but I don't want to keep it running. This stuff is great for this kind of thing. Yes, it does produce a little bit of moisture, but I see enough oil in here that I'm not worried about it right now. Just want to make sure that little part isn't down in one of these cracks or crevices. Okay, so right now, oh, there we go. Okay, so now the action works, but I got to get this hand back in place, and I think this lever needs to ride over the top of the hand. Let me pull it out of there. Yeah, it looks like this needs to fit in this notch, and there's quite a bit of oil on there, so that's good. Let's put that back in there and figure out how to pry that up. What could possibly go wrong? No, there it goes. Okay, so get that in place. What's going on here?
And while he's doing that, everybody, we know the video fidelity is not as good as it used to be. We'll fix it next week, or it'll fix itself.
Yeah. All right. So there are actions freed up. So at least that piece is working now. And I don't see anything wrong with any of the lock work. You know, I don't see anything else in here. Let's see. It's kind of gross, but so that works. All right, got to put that spring back in its place. All right, well, let's put these parts in and see if our problem goes away magically. So this goes down in this little tiny groove. Let me go in there and make sure I don't have any residual pieces of spring. Just make sure I don't see, yeah, I can see the bottom. That spring was so mangled, I wouldn't be surprised if there was something else down in the hole there. So that goes in there. Yep. This is always fun with big ham hands and little tiny parts. There we go. Wow, see how much longer that spring sticks out. The old one had like 1 or 2 coils out. So now this will be fun. Get that. Oh God, I can already see I'm going to fumble with this. Let me get some needle nose. So this little piece needs to drop down the top of that spring. Do it. Now, of course, the needle nose are magnetized, so it won't let go. I have to do it by hand the hard way. This is what you all came to see.
It's pure entertainment.
It is failure on a... All right, I got a better idea. Let's try to take the spring out and put it all together as one assembly.
We're just going to save this for next year's
Yeah.
so we can do
I
another.
mean, imagine how long that video is going to be next year with 12 months of my shenanigans. There we go. That was a better idea. Put the plunger in and then put the... Oh! Where'd the plunger go now? Oh, no.
That right there, that's the part
That's the part I need. But
that's
then...
the part that's going to go on the video.
Yeah, there it goes. Well, let me hold on just 1 second. I heard it hit the mat. So I have a very soft rubber mat here so that stuff doesn't bounce. Where'd that little bugger go? This is my life most of the time in the garage, is searching for small springs and detents.
The FCC doesn't regulate YouTube content, so, you know, if you want to say the occasional swear word, you're allowed.
Yeah, I'm saying them in my head. Oh, I gotta get my magnet.
Not like those words haven't been said before.
Yeah,
Exactly.
true.
It's just the ATF guy that we got to worry about.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll find this piece.
It's maybe one of the reasons why you order 2 of everything when you order it.
Yeah, I should have ordered a second one, but I didn't anticipate that problem. I have baggies of AR detents, but I can always order another one. Well, let's put it together without that part and just see what we get. Because if it's going to jam up that spring, then I'll order another spring. I'm sure I can find that piece, though. I'll sweep and vacuum later. Let's just proceed as if that didn't happen. But trust me, you work on enough guns, you will lose those little pieces. Get down in there. Fun, fun, fun. Yeah, it just doesn't want to go in that. Well, there we go. All right, well, let's try it. What could possibly go wrong? There's this piece. So that slides in there. Okay, I can already feel that. See that how that now springs back? Remember before this was locked in place. So now at least that springs forward. So let's try this. I don't know.
Are you really going to put it back together without that tiny spring?
Yep. Well, it's a little tiny part that I can easily replace if it needs to be there. And I'll order another spring just in case. So what's the worst that happens is I ruin another spring and we're no worse off. Okay. See, I'm checking to see if these two surfaces are flush. And I'm using a soft plastic hammer. I'm not using a metal hammer, especially on a chrome revolver. Okay, so far that function checks.
And we do want to remind everybody, we do know that the video fidelity is less than ideal.
Yeah.
So, sorry. Hopefully next week it'll be better, and maybe it'll resolve itself before the.
Yeah, if not, send me a high-dollar camera and I'll run it instead.
I can send you a camera. That's easy.
Yeah.
Are we sure it's the camera and not the ISP though?
No.
Well, no, we're not sure.
No,
My
ISP
ISP is Comcast, and I haven't had any bandwidth issues recently.
Until today.
Until right now. Yeah, of course. Okay, let's put our crane back in. Hey, that's locked. See, I cannot. That fixed that. That's locked. All right, there we go. That was our problem.
Okay, so what the hell did that little spring do?
That little spring, it pushes back on this. So this thing was stuck in that position.
I mean, down in the frame, we can't see it.
So this piece was stuck back like this, which doesn't allow that stopper to come forward and lock into the cylinder.
Well, no,
So
I know what it was doing to the gun, but what is?
But the spring pushes this forward. It applies a forward tension on this.
So when you fire it, it's going to stop cycling.
I don't think so.
No, I think so. I think the question is what's the function of the little plunger guide that you?
I think it's just like a recoil rod on a it helps you from bending that spring as you put it together. It's a really fragile little spring, and I think it just keeps it from getting kinked.
Huh. Which is probably what broke it in the first place.
Probably, yeah. Some other idiot lost the thing and put it back together. I'm going to order another one and replace it since I know that's the problem. It's not a big deal, but at least I know what the problem is now. So I'm going to get rid of these chonky grips. If somebody wants a set of I-frame grips, I'll send them off to you because I can't
Stop giving stuff away on camera. We don't have any way to do that.
Yeah, I'll throw them in the mail. I don't. Here's the new ones right here. Let's see if I can lose parts out of this.
I think we owe like 5 people triggers from last week.
No, 2 people. I told Danielle I'd give her one, and then somebody else said they wanted one. I got Danielle's address. I haven't seen the
proper.
Those are really nice.
I'm sorry, proper Colt.
Yeah, I ordered.
Are those resin or are those original?
These are just way too nice to be original.
Yeah.
That brass escutcheon is just too clean. I believe they're repops, but it's fine. Yeah. It's a chromed gun, so it'll never be original again. So let's put a screw through there. But I like these much better. I think they look just 100% better. Maybe if I was going to carry this gun, I'd care about the big chonky grips, but it just didn't feel right to me.
I'll give you $1 if you carry it.
Yeah. I would carry it if I was in Las Vegas, and I'd carry it in like a 70s detective shoulder holster. There we go. All right. Our patient is alive. $300 Colt revolver.
Nicely done, Scott.
There we go.
Well, that's tremendously disappointing.
I lost a part for you. I forgot I got to put the crane holder back in as the crane falls off. And
so it's like missing like 3 parts now because you didn't actually put it.
Yeah, no, it's
okay. I feel better.
One little part, but I think I can easily order another one because I know what it is. I know it's my problem, and get the right screwdriver head. And it takes 5 minutes to put that in.
All right. So how much did you do before you got the gun? Before you went on video?
I just wiped it down with an oily rag. I mean, with a rag and some hoppies on it. because it had, I know you can still see shadows of it. It had this kind of patina or this, I don't know what you'd call that, but it was,
Chrome is starting to oxidize. Or
yeah,
something,
but
so
it had almost like, you know how like in the old days paintings and stuff would get that nicotine look to them. The
Mhm.
whole gun looked like that. And so I just took a rag with Hoppy's #9 on it and just cleaned it off so that and then, you know, just so I could handle the stupid thing because it was pretty gross. But other than that, I didn't do anything else to it.
And then all you did was look it up in the.
Yeah, I just looked at the book. Well, I mean, I had a pretty good idea that it was related to this, just because I couldn't move it. You know, on any other revolver, that piece should lock into place. So I knew at least I had a problem with that. I didn't know if the lock work was any good. My fear was that this would be my problem, and then I would pull this plate off and the lock work would be just hosed, you know, rusted. Because, you know, I mean, I figured the chances were good that it wasn't because the chrome wasn't all pitting and there was no rust on the hammer or the trigger. So I figured, okay, well, it's a gamble, but the guts are probably at least in reasonable shape. You know, and opening it up and seeing that there was no thick incrustations of rust was my biggest fear, is that I'd open it up and it would look like a sewer pipe. And then at that point, you've got to take a hard look at what it would cost to buy all of the lock work and then hand fit each piece. Is probably not worth it on a $300 gun.
Mm.
But I figured, you know, it was $12, it was $12, and now it's going to be $18 to replace these parts. And I figured, okay, I need them anyway. And I will respring. There's a couple of other little tiny springs in here. Yeah, and this gun dates back to, I think, 1933. So I figure those springs are probably long past due anyway. I'll take a look at the mainspring, but it seems to be okay. There seems to be plenty of tension on it.
Oh.
So I
So
won't
next
mess with
week
it.
or the week after, or whenever the parts arrive, maybe you can show us the finished result. I think we're also going to see if we can find you some nice lighting that you can use
Yeah.
instead of what's.
Well, I'll see if I can find some sort of a diffuser for the overhead light.
I got some suggestions. I'll send you some. We'll either buy it for you or we'll send you some links.
Yeah.
And if anybody wants to donate to the cause, by all means, toss some money towards the club, and we'll make sure that Scott's got the right gear.
Yeah,
And then maybe I don't think it's your camera. I do think it's your internet. But
okay.
Next week, this is the first time it's ever been fuzzy like that. So
Yeah. Well, there it is though. With the new grips, I like these better than these. I hate these wood grips. They'll go in the grip pile.
well, somebody really wants them. You know, lay claim to them. Tell you what, donate some. Oh, we lost him. That's outstanding.
At least he was done.
Yeah, he's totally done. So that must have been his internet connection just deciding that he was done. We'll figure out a way to give the grips away. We haven't figured out how to give the trigger away that you want to give away last week. So we'll put our heads together. It's been a long couple of weeks work-wise for some of us, and obviously it's been a long 6 or 7 months. So we'll figure that out, and we'll get the trigger out to some deserving party. And if somebody really wants some Colt grips, we'll figure that out too. I want to thank everybody for coming, and I want to thank all the moderators for putting up with the nonsense around Zoom's changes to waiting rooms and passcodes. The next week we'll have a new link that we can use to that'll have everything we needed embedded in it, so we won't have to do the waiting room thing. And I'm going to go ahead and call the ball here. I'm going to stop the feed. If you guys have questions, Scott is always around on Discord. He actually haunts the YouTube channel and does bother to go into comments. So God love him. I wouldn't do that. Go into comments, so you can comment on the video and anywhere that it is, and he will probably see it, except for probably Twitch and Twitter. I don't think he goes there at all. But post your question to Discord. If you don't know how to get to the Discord channel, get thee to the Discord channel. Become a member. Once you become a member, you'll get all the information you need to join the various members only groups. You'll get invites to this particular video series, because we do these every Tuesday, and it only costs $10 a year unless you really want to give us more money. I think on that note, I've danced enough to hold off, waiting for Scott to come back. So I'm gonna go ahead
Scott's
and go.
back.
Oh, he's
Scott's
back.
back. Yeah, I just let him back in the room.
Outstanding. We can unmute him and let him say goodnight. Good night, Gracie. Because I just danced all the way to the end, and I'm going to stop the feed. So, any parting words, Scott?
No, I think, did you go over what we're talking about next week?
I did not.
Yeah, I think we had poor Danielle has to feel all the abuse about these videos. I don't know why you don't just direct it at me. I'm the one that screws this up.
They
But
make
anyway,
me do it because I'm nice and polite.
this is true. Well, you're nice anyway. Well, not really. But anyway, there was some complaints that we weren't addressing much content toward newbies, which I disagree with, but neither here nor there. So next week we're going to do kind of an AMA, and it'll be me and Ed and Eric, and we're going to see how many other instructors we can get online, and it will be ask us anything, you know, for new firearms owners. Any questions you have, whether it's training, it's gun related, it's you know, whatever, just throw questions at us next week. And you know, if
And
there's,
I will make sure to get a female so that it's not all you old men.
yeah, we don't want just old white guys. But anyway,
Cat.
that was
Cat. You got to have Cat. Get Cat.
Get Cat, get Lara.
yeah. So it's, you know, and it's really focused on people new to, you know, gun ownership or to the club, that you know, if you have questions, this is the place to ask them. If you don't want to ask them in a gun store and feel foolish or whatever, this is the forum for it. So this is your chance. And if you have ideas for other content, let us know. Don't just complain, let us know, and we'll see what we can do to accommodate it. I just do these because it's kind of my thing, but people are fully encouraged to suggest other ideas.
You know, Scott.
On that note, we've got a couple of panels scheduled in the coming months. So last month we did disability panel. This month as of October, we're going to have a minority panel, people of color, primarily African American. I'm not sure what we're going to title it, but we've got a whole bunch of people that aren't me going to be speaking to issues. I believe in November we're scheduling a veterans panel of some sort that our friend Lonnie, who's on the call right now, is going to be helping run. So the content's going to be pretty far ranging. I do want to let everybody know that if you're playing drinking games tonight during the presidential debate, be careful because it could get rocky. And if you'd like to not watch the presidential debate, but join us in our pub on Discord, if nobody knows where the hell that is, they should probably say something during Zoom, and we can make sure you get the link. Otherwise, we will see you there, and we will see you next week.
Hey, Scott.
Yeah.
We should do something on Ojive.
Oh yeah, explain what that
would be
is.
Fun. That would be a lot of fun.
I'm killing the stream.
Okay.
On that
do
note,
that.
He's killing us, Lonnie.